So they're disappearing people off the streets in the States.
The orange turd is manipulating the market so his buddies can make more money.
Yeah, because $1 billion, I guess, ain't enough money. But not only that, the melon felon is fervently endorsing crypto, like that piece of crap, whatever he put out in Melania that just relieved MAGA brain idiots of their hard-earned money.
That's because it's a scam.
It's a scam. I believe crypto is a scam. Do you disagree? Do you disagree? Talk us off the cliff.
If you can.
If you can.
We've been studying investing through the stock market for a minute now.
And the one thing that we know, I'm sorry, I keep looking over here because I don't know what's going on with this computer. But the one thing that we know is that we invest in things that create value for the consumer, right? That are well managed and hopefully a bit undervalued.
So what value does crypto create?
Exactly. What value does it create? So we're going to talk about it. If you are a utopian, hey, welcome back. We're so happy that you are here. But if you just came across this video, came across this channel, hey, y'all, my name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, y'all. We talk about money. We talk about travel and life abroad. We help folks, Black folks who look like us. You ain't got to look like us, but Black folks get their money straight so that they can retire on time or maybe even abroad.
Abroad is a very good thing.
It is. All right, sweetie. So what are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about don't buy crypto, do this instead. So first we're going to give some definitions that we're all speaking on the same page, talking the same language.
Exactly. Then we'll lay out our reasonings for why we believe that Black folks should not be investing in crypto.
Then, as promised, we're going to give you some ETFs from emerging markets that include the BRICS nations so that you hedge your investments against this crazy ass nonsense that the melon felon turd is doing.
Exactly. But first, if you're new to our channel, then you might not know. Back in 2018, Rick and I got a wake-up call. All right. We looked at our money and it looked crazy.
Crazier than things are going in the United States today.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But we got our financial act together. And in 3 years, we went from negative 22,000 to over 800,000 in net worth. Today, over 1.1 million in net worth. And if we can do that, y'all,
you can do it too.
You can do it too. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe. We are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers because we believe that this is information that our community desperately needs. So get off the couch, go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell twice so that you know every single time that we go live, and hit the like button if you like this information. All right. And that lets the algorithm know that this is something that needs to be shared with other folks.
And it needs to be shared.
It does. We're going to say hello to the folks in the chat, but first let's just go ahead and get started with the definitions at least.
Okay. So the first thing is, what is an investment?
Right. So an investment is the allocation of money, sometimes time or resources, right, into something with the expectation that it's going to generate a profit at the end of the day, right? It's going to generate a profit in the future.
Okay. So by that definition, crypto is an investment?
Yeah, it's an investment, but what asset class is it? I mean, is it a commodity? It's not stock. It's not real estate. So what is it, right?
Yeah, there are basically 5.5 asset classes. I'm saying a half because, well, you'll see.
All right. So what is an asset class? An asset class is a group of investments that share similar characteristics and behave similarly in the market. Think of an asset class as investment categories, right? Mm-hmm. Each type reacts differently to economic events, have different risks, also different opportunities, right? So the first one, of course, is
stocks
or equities, right? So you own a little piece of a company. Maybe you own a bigger piece of a company. And what is the goal? Growth, right? We invest in companies, like we said, that create value for their consumers, that are well managed and hopefully undervalued a bit so we can make more money. Risk Yeah, they can be volatile. They can be volatile, which is why for beginners, we always suggest that you do your research on ETFs and index funds, because by definition, they are more diverse, and all of the companies within that index fund or within that ETF would have to go belly up for you to be in a bad position. But if you're only invested, like if you've got all of your money in Apple, if you've got all of your money in Microsoft, or all of your money in Amazon, that's not a good deal. Or all your money, right? Or all your money in crypto. We know the people that we have heard of. I don't know anybody who's lost everything, but the people that I have heard of that have gotten, on TikTok or on IG or whatever and say, "Oh, lost all my money." 9 times out of 10, it's crypto people. It's crypto people. So, all right. Second class.
Second thing is bonds, fixed income.
All right. So what is a bond? Basically, a bond is just you lending money to the government or you lending money to a company, right? And it earns interest, right? It does not necessarily, well, most 99.9% of the time, there is a hybrid thing that's like part bond, part equity. Um, And I can't remember what it is. I think that it is the real estate trusts, I think, but I'm not REITs. Yeah, but I'm not sure. So don't quote me on that. Do your own research. Anyway, so you lend money to the company, you lend money to the government, right? And the expectation is that not that it can grow to, by 12% or 13% or 30%, right? Like some companies can. No, it's a fixed interest rate. And at the end of the day, you will get your principal plus the interest. So the goal?
Stability and income.
And the risk, inflation can be risky, right? Like if there's high inflation like there was the past several years, and the interest rate is lower than the inflation rate, then yeah, you could lose. You could you're not going to lose your principal, but you could not gain any money. Or buying power, I should say. You might have more money, but it might not have more buying power because of inflation. Number 3 asset is
cash and cash equivalents.
Okay, right. So we're talking about high yield savings accounts. We're talking about CDs. We're talking about money market funds. The goal?
Liquidity and safety.
Right. Now, I don't know what the melon felon is doing with the FDIC. So we have to pay special attention to what he is doing to the FDIC. And we suggest that you don't have not only do you not have all your money in one institution, we don't think that you should have all of your money in one currency. Because that's where we're at, folks. That's where we're at. So you need that liquidity, the risk, of course, low returns, and inflation
eats it up.
It can eat it up, right? And so that's the bad part about it. And the reason why we have the majority of our money in investments that, in the stock market, I should say, right? Okay, the fourth
one is real estate.
Of course, real estate, right? Physical property. That or REITs, which I just mentioned, and the income, right? You get your rental. You get your rental income, right? So, and not only that, it appreciates. So you could, for the good thing about real estate is that it's a time game, especially in the United States right now, because we don't know what's going on. But it takes a lot less money to have a lot more equity than it does in the stock market, right? So you could conceivably spend $20,000 down payment and then walk away with 100, 200, maybe even depending upon if you buy grandma's house or not, $200,000 plus in equity, right? And right off the bat, but you cannot do that with stocks. You buy $20,000 worth of stock today, tomorrow it's going to be 20,100, 200, 300, depending upon what you invested in. And then the fifth one is
commodities.
Y'all know what a commodity is. We remember back in high school, right? When we learned about economics, or did some people not have economics? So commodities are usually raw materials, right? Food is a commodity. Oranges are a commodity, or concentrated orange. Pork bellies are a commodity. Gold, oil, right? Stuff like that. Agricultural, all that stuff, those are commodities. The one thing about commodities is, for the most part, And some might say, I don't have my phone with me, but some might say a phone is a commodity at this point because it's so necessary. But all of those things have intrinsic value without doing anything, right? Food has intrinsic value. Obviously, we need it to eat, right? We need it to live. We need to eat to live, right? And so that's something that really is never going to steer you wrong. Now, it's a long game because if you try to do day trade and all that, we saw trading places, right? And all that nonsense. In the short term, yes, a commodity can be risky if a crop has a bad year, et cetera, et cetera. But over the long term, people need food to eat. So if you invest in companies that create food, obviously, that's going to be a lot less risky than some of these other investments. And then the sixth one, as you said, 5.5.
Alternative assets.
So it's interesting that, like Investopedia and things like that, sometimes put like crypto in the same category with like an antique. Why? I don't know. I mean, except for the fact that an antique is precious because we say it is, right? Because we say, oh, there's only, 200 more of those in the world, right? Scarcity. And so Bitcoin, for instance, tries to create that sense of scarcity because they've said, we're not going to create any more than 21 million.
21 million coins or something like that. Some madness.
But here's okay, we'll get to that. All right. So the risk, much higher risk. And it's less regulated, right? I mean, they really did not start regulating cryptocurrency until the last like 3 to 4 years. So, all right. So we're going to be using Bitcoin as the example because Bitcoin is the most popular, and Bitcoin is the one most people know, right? So that's why we're going to use it. So who founded Bitcoin? I mean, we know who founded Apple. We know who founded Meta and Amazon and PayPal and Tesla, right? And all of that stuff. we know who founded it. But who founded Bitcoin?
It was Satoshi Nakamoto.
Who's that? Who is that? We don't know who that is.
That's bruh.
Bruh man.
Bruh.
So bruh man named Satoshi Nakamoto, supposedly in 2008 when we don't know. A paper called Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. This was way back in 2008. So his identity is mysterious. No one knows who Satoshi is. They disappeared from the internet in 2011 after launching the project. This anonymity adds to both the mythology and risk of Bitcoin. I think it's BS. That's what I think. And I think if you created something that you think is so great, why don't you step up and get in front of it? Or did you look around and say, damn, I'm broke. What's a fast way to make money? What if I sell the idea of a currency and they give me real currency in exchange? How about that? I don't know, y'all. I don't know. So 2009, Bitcoin software is released. The first block is called the Genesis block, right? And it's mined.
Then they had, in 2010, the first known transaction, and some of y'all might remember this, 10,000 in Bitcoin was spent on 2 pizzas.
Yeah, I remember that.
2 pizzas.
Yeah, but today, how much would that be worth?
Millions.
2011, 2013, Bitcoin starts gaining attention as an alternative currency, including use on the Silk Road, which is a dark place on the web. You don't want to go there. And that's the thing, isn't it? So I was talking to Beyond the Bling students yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. Dang, that seems like a long time ago. And I remember the movie Dope. And at the time, I did not understand that he was buying and selling the drugs via Bitcoin. And he gave the butthole, the bad guy, a digital wallet so he could reclaim his Bitcoin, and he walked away, right? I didn't understand what he was doing. I mean, I understood the concept, but I didn't know it was a thing. I thought it was just some abstract thing that only like nerds knew about, right? And maybe at the time they did. I can't remember how old that movie is, but that was my first. And that's the thing. A lot of dark crap goes on in cryptocurrency. A lot of money laundering goes on in cryptocurrency. So already you're not starting off from a good place in my mind. So in 2017, Bitcoin hits 20,000, then crashes. Then what happens?
In 2020 to 2021, major adoption. Big companies like Tesla, Square, and PayPal jumped in, and prices soared past 60,000.
Of course, I mean, they said Tesla, Elon Musk, PayPal, Elon Musk. So that's just one person. That's one person. 2022, 2023 crash again due to macroeconomic pressures, right? Exchange scandals like FTX, right? Remember that? And regulatory uncertainty. So, and then today,
2024, 2025, today, interest rebounds as Bitcoin gets a US approved ETF and institutional interest grows.
But is it investing or is it speculation, y'all? Is it investing or is it speculation? We know what Warren Buffett says. So that's the big question. Investing usually involves buying something with intrinsic value, like stocks that produce profits or real estate that earns rents. On the other hand,
Bitcoin doesn't produce anything. Its value comes from supply and demand. Belief and scarcity. Only 21 million will ever exist. So you better get it now.
But they want it to be a currency, but 21 million will. So if this were the world currency and there was only 21 million of it, see, first of all, the fact that there is scarcity means that I don't believe in scarcity, right? I believe that there's enough money out there for everybody to have lots and lots and lots of it, but not if there's only 21 million, right? So then what do you pay with something with a tenth of a coin? Or what do you do? And this Nasatoshi Moshi, whatever his name is, how much does he own? And what happens if he were to sell all of it? Like if he owns 20% of everything that's out there, what happens if he just cashes in? Does it go to zero? I don't know. So speculating, what's speculating? Speculating, buying in hopes that someone else will pay more later. That's speculation. Buying now some people could say real estate speculation, but people have to have a place to live. People have to have a place to live, right? So that's a necessity. Bitcoin's not a necessity. So we're hoping that if I paid, I don't even know what it costs today. I don't know, 100, 200 for one coin or half a coin or a tenth of a coin or whatever. I'm hoping that somebody tomorrow will pay 100 for less than that, right? For 100th of a coin or whatever. I'm hoping. But if there are no more suckers out there to spend more money on it, then does the value go up or does it stay the same? So what is that? What does that mean?
Bitcoin.
So what does it mean?
It's 83,443.
So 83,000 for a coin. So by nature, it's highly speculative. Highly speculative. All right, we're going to talk about the major risks, but first let's see who's in the audience. Hey, y'all. We've given you a lot already. I know we've given you a lot. So you know the drill. Put a Q in front of your question. And so we'll just go through really quick. Hey, CK, A. Lee is in the house. Badia. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings to you too. Hey, Greta Cobb in there from Mexico. Beloved Truth. Good to see you. Yes, a total and complete utter scam. Okay. All right. Beloved Truth. Deneen Rogers. Happy Palm Sunday. That's right. I keep forgetting that Sunday. Next Sunday is Easter, y'all. We'll be in Rome.
We'll be in Rome for Easter.
Yeah, we will be. Greetings from Pacific Northwest. Yay. I'm glad you were able to catch this live too. Hola, avocado queen. Allison is in the house. Hey, Shane, crypto is no more a scam than the US dollar. Why? Talk me off the cliff.
Talk us off it.
Right? Like the US dollar, for now anyway, is still the currency of business. So you can actually get stuff with it. And the other thing about currencies is a good currency doesn't do this. It does this. It may go down a little bit and then up a little bit, but it doesn't have these wild swings. If it does, it's probably a banana republic, right? So I don't know. Good morning. Hey, Winnie. Y'all know it's nighttime here. It's almost 9:00. Oh, Action PJ made it. He was out here in these international streets, y'all. So I wasn't sure if he was going to make it today. Hey, Lenora,
Hey.
Good to see you. Who else is in the house? We got Sabrina. Sabrina Bell, good to see you. Karen Louise is in the house. We got Shanora, Gwen, and Derek Travels. We got Marcus Allen is back. Yay. Hey, Tia is in the house. You guys go check out her channel from last week. And the discussion we had last week was on point. Right, Vicky? It was really, really good. Hey, Curtis, good to see you in the chat. Stephanie is in the chat. All right, y'all. Harmony, Peace, Vicky H, Cheryl, Rapper MD, Peggy, we love y'all. Tana Rose, we love y'all. We're so happy that you are here. All right, I'm going to go down to the bottom and see if there are any cues. Piggy Girl is in the house. She says speculation. That's all I'm saying. Speculation. I look, y'all. Again, we are giving up a currency that people all over the world
Are
use and holding, right? And that we can buy real things with in the United States for some digital thing of zeros and ones that some anonymous people created, and its only value is that everybody wants it. But it's not creating, it's not enhancing anybody's lives. Of course, the people who are day trading it, right? Dipping in and dipping out and making lots of money. I ain't mad at them, but that's not how that's work. That's work. And we ain't trying to work. We are buy and hold investors, right? We're in it for the long haul. We're in it. Because it's a time game. It's time in the market so that you can have compounding interest working in your favor. Okay. Just did a quick search, Nichelle says, and see that the countries where Bitcoin is most popular and widely used: Nigeria, El Salvador, Vietnam, India, US. I don't know what they're using it on. Philippines, because I can't pay my mortgage. I can't pay my mortgage with Bitcoin. I can if I cash it out, right? But I cannot use Bitcoin to pay for anything that I value. No, none of them take it. None of the mortgage companies take it, right? When we had a car payment, the bank wouldn't take it, right? The utility companies won't take it.
You could buy a Tesla.
And I would never buy that piece of crap car and support apartheid and racism. I won't do it, right? I can't go to Costco. They're not going to take it, right? So, I don't know. Y'all. All right. I don't see any cues. I'm looking. And I don't see any cues. There's one. And I'm going to mark it and we're going to continue on just to make sure. Hey, Yakota. Empress Monica.
What did Action BJ say?
I don't know. Oh, there's a cue. There's another cue. So yeah, real estate does include REITs. And we said that. Thanks, Greta. Good question. All right. I think I got them all. I think I got all of the ones so far anyway. All right, y'all. Major risks of Bitcoin. Volatility. Bitcoin prices swing so friggin' wildly. It could drop 10 to 20% or grow 10 to 20% in a day, right?
Yeah.
And then the regulatory risk.
Governments could restrict or heavily regulate crypto, hurting demand.
Right? I don't think the U.S. is going to do this now that there's an ETF, and that ETF obviously has to follow FEC rules. But that governments can just ban it. I think it's banned in China.
Yeah, I think it is banned.
I think it's banned in China, right? So security, you can lose your Bitcoin if you lose your password, your private key, or if you get hacked.
Yeah, you lose that wallet.
Right? That's crazy to me. That is absolutely crazy.
And there was a story a couple years ago, maybe more than a couple years ago, that a guy had like millions in Bitcoin, millions in Bitcoin, and he lost his wallet and he could not remember, his wallet, what was in his wallet,
his
passwords.
I mean, if I lost my wallet on the streets, yes, I could lose all of my money if that person was quick enough to figure out how to get into the bank accounts from the ATM cards that debit cards that they see in my wallet, right? Like, yeah, that could happen. But the first thing that I would do is call the banks and freeze everything right off, right? And report stuff stolen, lost, or whatever. So yeah, losing your physical wallet, yes, could lead to you losing a bunch of money, right? But that doesn't even seem fair. It does not seem fair nor moral that if you forget your password or pass keys or whatever, that all the money that you invested, just, too bad, so sad. Really? It seems immoral. So they've got to fix that. Number 4.
No intrinsic value. It doesn't pay dividends, interest, or profits. If demand dries up, so does the price.
It doesn't create anything. It does not create anything. Besides, it could create wealth for those who got in early, right? But a sucker is born every day. So you got to hope that suckers keep coming and offering to pay like more than $83,000.
Like multi-level marketing.
Exactly.
The first folks made the money.
Exactly. Right. And then interest dries up, right? And so, it's going to be really interesting to see where this goes. The other thing that I don't like about cryptocurrency, I like living on a planet where I can breathe and drink the water, right? I really, really, if I ever get biological grandkids, I would really like them to be able to drink the water and breathe the air. And crypto uses a lot of electricity. It's a bad, bad footprint, right? And so for anyone who claims to be into the environment, who claims that they, really want to reverse what man has done to our Mother Earth, crypto ain't the way to do that. And then number 6.
Scams and fraud. Many crypto schemes, aren't Bitcoin, but use its popularity. There's a lot of different coins. Every time you turn around, there's different.
Yeah, like the Doge coin. What happened with that? The Trump coin, the Melania coin. What happened with that?
Anybody can create a coin? What's up with that?
We should have a coin, the OBU coin. Because we want to relieve you. I would never, ever, 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 ever purposely create something that had no value to scam people off their money. Because karma's a bitch, y'all. And what comes around goes around. I don't care what anybody said. We think that the melon felon's not going to get his comeuppance. He's going to get his comeuppance. He's going to get his comeuppance, and he's going to get it real good, just like Hitler did. All right. Of course, some people probably think he's still alive. 100 years later, they think he's still alive. All right. If you want to dabble into Bitcoin, here's the safeguards. Use a reputable platform. I just say, just get the ETF. Like, that's what I would do. I just get the ETF. It probably has like a very, very low expense ratio. And it seems to me that that's a safer way because there's just no wallet or any of that. Is an ETF. So I think iShares has an ETF. And so, yeah. Cold storage.
if you're holding a large amount, consider a hardware wallet.
That's not connected.
A cold wallet.
That's not connected to the internet because it can be hacked. So only invest what you can afford to lose.
But they can fail too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be careful of that because, it's like a little drive.
Like a hard drive.
Like, thumb drive type
or whatever.
thing. And they can fail.
They can fail. So you probably need to put it on 2-3 or write it down somewhere.
And they're not cheap.
No. So only invest what you can afford to lose, y'all. Think of it like going to Vegas with your fun money, not your rent money. I like that. Right? I didn't make that up. Somebody else made that up, but I like that. Don't chase the hype.
Avoid buying just because it's in the news or someone promised that it's going to the moon.
Right. Don't do a FOMO. Do not buy. We do not invest because of the fear of missing out. All right. That's not what we do. Learn before you leap. Understand what blockchain is, and any company that is investing in blockchain and trying to figure out a way that it does not use so much energy, right? I think that's a sound investment. Follow news from sources like CoinDesk, but cross-reference with traditional financial media. All right, so we'll answer some questions and then we will get to the ETFs. We're going to keep it tight tonight and get y'all out of here. All right. I love y'all, but remember, all of the BRICS nations are also invested in certain cryptos. Well, yeah, but that's not what we're like. If India, for instance, is invested in crypto, that does not mean that investing in an ETF of companies that happen to be in India, right, that make cars, that make tuk-tuks, that make this and that,
right,
that, like, I'm not sure.
It's not totally made up of crypto.
Well, the ETFs that we're talking about will hold none to very little crypto, if any, right? Like,
right.
So, so I'm not, I don't get the relationship, Marvin. I don't get the relationship. Did you hear about the USA government cutting funds to the Portuguese universities after asking them about terrorists and mass migration? No. And I'm surprised. I didn't even know that the US government gave any money to Portuguese universities. So yeah, no, I hadn't heard about that. I had not heard about that. Okay, we're checking the chat right now so we can see. Yeah, like, exactly. To me, crypto reminds me of NFTs. What the F is it? Like, what is it? So, you buy what is it?
You buy the digital image. Whatever you choose, whatever somebody has is a digital image, and you hold on to it.
And then what? And
you hold on to it until somebody else wants to buy it from you.
It is like the tulip craze of the 1600s, y'all. It makes no sense. Okay, TD, if you want us to put your thing on screen, you got to put a Q in front of it, all right? I feel crypto has served its true purpose. Soon governments will use digital currency. BRICS has already started the process to get from under the dollar. The US is not going to stick to the dollar. I don't know. They might go to a digital currency, but it's not going to be Bitcoin because it's only 21 million. Like, the whole world is supposed to, share 21 million Bitcoin. So I guess things are going to cost 1/100th, 1/1000th of a coin or something. I don't know. I mean, I could see a nation going digital, but I cannot see a nation, and especially not a nation run by Mr. Make America White Again. He ain't giving up that power. He is not giving up that power. So to control, he ain't giving it up. And it doesn't look like he's ever leaving office, since that right now they're in court trying to fight for a third term. So, yeah. All right. If the powers that be are moving away from fiat currency towards crypto, what's our best way to pivot, especially if you are also skeptical of crypto? If the United States, if the EU, right, if any country that has had at least 20, 30, 40 years of a stable government, and then the US, and they went to a digital currency, then, I mean, they have, there's so much that goes into this. There is so much that goes into this. And think about it. So, all right. So the dollar is no more. Now there's digital dollars, let's just say, right? So that means you've got to replace every single penny in the bank, right? And that has to convert. And then then they've got to decide what is the conversion rate, and it better be 1-to-1. So there's a lot. There is a lot, right? And then all of the systems, all the payment systems and everything have to be changed, right? All of the online payment systems where you put in your bank account and do all of that's got to be for every single company out there. So we are a long way from that. I don't see that happening. Like, that is a lot of infrastructure changes. That is a lot of infrastructure changes. And I just don't see how that's going to happen before 2030. 5 years. I mean, they would have to decide today. And they're not, because the melon felon is not giving up that power. He is not giving up that power. So it would have to be a dollar digital. He's not going to allow some other country to dictate what he can spend money on, how he spends that money. He ain't even letting Congress do their job, right? So he's certainly not going to be, negotiating with another country on what the value is, and should we print more, and whoop-de-woo, and how and should we raise the interest rate, lower the, all that stuff that goes into our economic system. You really think that man's going to give up that power? We're going to have to drag his fat, turdy behind out of that White House. That's what's going to have to happen. We are going to have to drag him out. He ain't leaving, because he knows as soon as he leaves, he's going to prison. He ain't trying to leave. Since people may be losing jobs, forfeiting on payments, what about other real estate like warehouses, car washes? Thoughts, family? So this is a general question for anybody. We crowdsource around here because no one on here knows everything. I would look at states that are trying to pass marijuana. And if it looks like it's going to pass, like if the polling shows that that there is an appetite in that state, I would go to those states and buy warehouses.
They're gonna need warehouses galore,
right? Because what happened in Colorado is that we had tons of empty warehouses, tons, right? Because we don't make a lot of stuff anymore. We make services, not things. So we had a lot of empty warehouses. Then we legalized pot, and then warehouses, boy, not only did they disappear, some of them turned into like clubs where the dispensaries over here, you can smoke over there, and they don't do it like they do it in California. They gentrified weed in Denver, Colorado. Okay. Like where you can go in there, like it's wine tasting. It's like, okay, smell this one. How does that make you feel? And they'll be, not smoking it, but they open the canister and let you smell the flower and all this other stuff. I had to do a whole tour when I was running for office and learn about the industry. So yeah, that's what I would be. I would be thinking about things that are going to be disruptors, so that undervalued. We want to buy things that are undervalued in a place that's losing industry, but people are trying to get marijuana on the ballot. That would be a place where I would look and see if I could find some warehouses. So that's my take.
Yeah, it makes sense, because they will go.
Yeah. So we answered that one.
Yes, real estate.
REITs and real
REITs
estate,
and real estate.
same asset class. I can't resist the byproducts of the electricity plants in mining, the crypto space. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, like, are you saying you want to invest in the byproducts of the electricity plants for the data mine? Is that what you're saying? That would be interesting. Like, especially for the person who's like, saying, how can you hedge your bets? Like, if they cannot figure out, we're killing this planet. If they cannot figure out how to do this using a less electricity, then yeah, there's already a byproduct. And if they continue and they just like, this is just how it is, then there are some investment opportunities there on the cleanup as well as blockchain. So yeah, we talked about that. Look, I don't know. I don't know what NTF is. I still don't know. I don't understand its value. And if I don't understand it, I don't invest in it. Is Bitcoin like gambling? How can this be regulated? It's speculative. It's definitely speculative. But it's not 100% gambling, because gambling, I mean, you can lose all of your money. You can lose all of your money in the stock market. People have. But gambling, the house always wins. And we know that, right? So I can't say it's that bad, but to me, it's a big gamble. Some people say investing in general is a gamble. Yes, but you want to minimize your risks. And to me, investing in cryptocurrency is not minimizing your risk. It is enhancing your risk. Of course, the more risk, the more gains. We understand that. So if I were ever to invest in cryptocurrency, it would be that ETF or whatever ETFs are out there. It would not be directly. I don't trust them. I don't trust it, and barely trust the stock market. But at least there's some regulations and some rules and laws, even though the United States seems to be lawless these days.
Oh my God.
The FDIC doesn't insure Bitcoin. No, it does not. Right? You read my mind. I saw that list, countries where Bitcoin is popular, and thought, where is China? They don't give up that power, right? Like when we go to Japan, I'll be very interested to see, because Japan was on that list, what shops take Bitcoin. Or is it just popular? People just investing in it. Portugal is pursuing it since special status for residency and taxation have been granted to crypto holders. I'm not sure what you mean, CK.
Is that Portuguese people holding crypto, or?
No, she said residency, status for residency. So I know nothing about that. I know nothing about anybody getting special status, special residency, unless I know nothing about that. I don't know where you heard that, CK. And so let us know, because I've never heard that before in my whole entire life. Rider Skater, many Americans who are immigrating would like to invest abroad while divesting from America, but few countries are as safe. Yeah, that's not true, Rider Skater. Treasuries in Europe pay very low interest rates. Yeah, any suggestions? So, like we said, any government that has been stable for for decades and have laws in place to protect and regulations to protect, investors and or deposits are safe. And there's lots of them. And we've given that list before, Rider Skater. So, and I can't remember what video it was where we were talking about the countries where it's safe to bank and invest.
That wasn't too long ago.
It wasn't too long ago. It was not too long ago. All right, I'm going down to the bottom before we give you the list, and then we're going to let you guys go. Hit this like if you like the fact that we research these things thoroughly before we just pop off. I've been talking about crypto since we started this YouTube channel. I've been saying we don't invest in crypto because I don't understand it. And when I was running for office, all the crypto bros wanted me to endorse, certain legislation and this and that and the other. And so I had 2 or 3 so-called experts try to explain this thing to me. Now, they did explain blockchain in a way that I could understand. I said, okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting technology. I would invest in that. But they have yet to explain crypto to me in a way that makes it make sense.
All eyes are on China.
China's in the power.
And you saw where the orange turd, he blinked.
But I find it very interesting that he removed the tariffs on the things that rich people buy, electronics, iPhones, and kept the tariffs on the things that poor people buy, like that very, very fast fashion, cheap clothing and stuff. You see, y'all, we have got to drag that man out. My focus for the coming weeks and months is the bond market. The bond market is 5 times larger than the stock market. Yep, I don't understand crypto at all. Study the bond market. You noticed that the bond market was not doing well with them tariffs. When he had them at 100% and, little bitty penguin islands and stuff at 65% and all the kind of nonsense. The bond market took a dive and he panicked and he blinked, right? So, yeah, we are buying government bonds, assuming that the United States will still have a government. And he's trying very hard to become king. So I'm not sure. So Nichelle says QR codes are more popular in Japan than crypto. All right. Let's get to this list. Hey, Thrive with Shantae. It has been a while. We're so glad that you're here. Yes, certain electric or power companies are selling their waste to be converted into electricity to mine. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. See, like, I would be more interested in the support systems that can also be used with other industries. The U.S. will default on its debt loans, just like individuals, and just like it did in the 1970s when we were taken off gold. Other countries are buying physical or gold stocks. Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's go on. All right. The first one, get your pen and paper out. Are we endorsing these ETFs? No, we are not certified financial advisors.
Something for you to look at.
Okay.
For you to do your due diligence.
Exactly. We are financial educators. And so, see. Okay, so Picky Girl lived in China for a couple of years. China doesn't allow its own currency to float. No way they will do that. They'd all do crypto. See? So these are for you to research. We're going to give you some information and we're going to tell you why we find it interesting. And so I was doing searches of ETFs where a good portion of the companies are in BRIC nations and that have a low expense ratio, a decent PE ratio, right? And have had steady growth over the past 5 years. So that's what I was looking at. And the first one is
iShares MSCI BRIC ETF.
The code is B as in boy, K as in kitten, F as in Frank. The expense ratio is less than 1%. It's 0.72.
0.72.
And the PE ratio is 15.3. All right. Expense ratio, those are the fees that you don't have to pay, right? PE ratio is how much do you have to spend on this thing to earn $1? So for this ETF, you have to spend $15.30 as of yesterday when I looked this stuff up to earn $1. So that's not bad. Just for context, last time I checked Apple, it was about a PE ratio of about 35. So you had to spend $35 to earn $1 with Apple stock. So This BKF, provides exposure to large and mid-sized companies in Brazil, Russia, a little bit of Russia, India, and China, though Russia is greatly reduced because of all the sanctions. Key sectors are financials, energy, and tech. So why is it a fit? Why does it fit my criteria?
Offers diversified BRIC exposure. Growth from India and China sectors offsets trade headwinds.
Yeah, exactly. So that's BKF. Number 2.
This iShares MSCI Emerging Markets EX China ETF.
You want to say the call letters?
I was going to, but you can.
It's E as in Edward, M as in Mary, X as in X-ray, C as in cat, EMXC. And the expense ratio is
0.2%.
Yeah. So
very low.
Very low.
Ratio.
Yeah. PE ratio
13.8.
So it costs you $13 to earn $1 with this ETF, the overview. So this one targets emerging markets, excluding China, providing exposure to countries like India, Brazil, and South Africa. And the key sectors are
technology, financials, and consumer what is that?
Consumer discretionary.
Oh. Let me see what.
Yeah, typo.
Discretionary.
Typo. I did a typo. Why it fits. This is ideal for investors seeking emerging markets exposure without China's regulatory risks, while still capturing growth from other BRIC nations. Number 3, you will know this name.
Vanguard FTSE Emerging Markets ETF. The letters are V as in Victor, W as in
Water or Walter.
I was going to say Willie.
As in Willie Horton.
And O as in Oscar.
Yes. VWO. The expense ratio is 0.8. The PE ratio is 1.5. So it'll be, that's very, like, it costs you $1.50 to earn $1. Offers broad exposure to emerging markets, including significant allocations to China, India, Brazil, and South Africa. Key sectors are
financials and technology and energy.
Yeah. So this provides a diversified emerging markets exposure with a very low expense ratio, capturing growth across multiple BRIC nations. Ooh, I got some typos. I'm really interested in this next one. Number 4.
Wisdom Tree. India Earnings Fund. Letters are EPI.
Edward Paul Indigo. EPI. The expense ratio is 0.084, so really low. PE ratio
4.0.
Costs you $4 to earn $1. Overview. Focuses exclusively on Indian equities, emphasizing companies with strong earnings. That's why I'm interested.
Sectors are financials, energy, and materials.
Yeah, that's weird why it keeps doing that. I don't know. I think the K is broken on anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. So India's economy has been resilient with growth driven by domestic consumption and infrastructure development. They are really building a middle class in India. I know historically has been a very have and have not country. But they are really building a middle class now. So it's driven by domestic consumption and infrastructure development, making it less susceptible to external tariffs. Number 5.
iShares MSCI Brazil's ETF. The letters are EWZ.
Expense ratio, half a percent. PE ratio, approximately
7.5.
So costs you about $7, $7.50 to earn $1. Provides exposure to Brazilian equities with significant allocations to the energy and financial sectors. So energy, financials, and materials, right? Mm-hmm. So why is it a fit?
Brazil benefits from global commodity demands, and its market has shown resilience amid global trade tensions.
Exactly. And this is the last one, Spider. Portfolio Emerging Markets ETF. And the call letters are call letters. I come from television world, y'all. S as in Sam, P as in Paul, E as in Edward, M as in Mary, SPEM. 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 The expense ratio?
0.11%.
The PE ratio is 11.48. So it costs you $11, $11.50 to earn a buck.
Overview is it provides broad exposure to emerging markets, including significant allocations to China, India, Brazil, and South Africa.
Key sectors, financials, technology, and energy. And so, this offers a diversified emerging market exposure with low expense ratio, capturing growth across multiple BRIC nations. So one more time, it's SPEM, EWZ, EPI, V as in Victor, WO, EMXC, and then the first one was BKF. So there you have it. We suggest that if you want something that can have a higher than normal return, emerging markets are it, right? Because they're emerging, right? It's like catching Apple before it was Apple, right? Before people thought it was cool. And only nerds like us used it, right? It's catching Amazon back when they only sold books. That's what we're talking about. And so at least with this kind of investment, they're actually creating things that are better for humanity and just not creating nothing, just moving money around. I don't know. I think that there is a moral dilemma to cryptocurrency right now as well. I really do. Halisi and Rick, I truly love your channel and recommend it to everyone. Thank you, Mr. P-Man. It's good to see you in the chat. Your stance on crypto is flawed. Okay, utility gives certain coins value like let's put this up because it keeps moving. People are XRP. Bitcoin has low utility. Meme coins are trash. Okay, so we will look up XRP. Not right now. Not right now. To me, Bitcoin is like, and we talked about this, trading currencies, right? You can be a currency trader. You can be a Bitcoin trader. I think it lends itself more to day trading than it does for long-term investments. Again, I don't get it because I don't see how it adds value. I will look up XRP and see what utility it has. But
get him off of there, Roberto.
Roberto Suarez. I wonder if it was even a real person.
Yeah.
Or a bot.
Oh, it's probably a bot.
Do all these pay dividends? That I don't know, Ailey. That I don't know. Because we always reinvest our dividends. So I never pay attention to it. Right? I never pay attention to it. But Mr. P-Man, we thank you for the information. We said, talk us off the cliff. Talk us off the cliff. Tell me what I don't know. Look, I'm a lifelong learner. I love learning and I don't mind being wrong. I ain't got to be right, but I got to understand it before you're going to get my hard-earned money. Did you see the lapel pin of his face that he wants Congress to wear? Are we in North Korea? Are we in North Korea right now?
You can't make this shit up.
Oh my goodness. All countries are going to stable coins or CBDC, programmable money. Best alternative is to own coins like XRP or XLM. Okay, so you've got a friend out there.
We have to check it out.
P-Man. XRP or XLM. So we got XRP. I'm going to write down XLM. I'm circling it. Crypto to watch. I'll do some research. Thank you, Marvin. Okay, so we got that. I think we've answered all the questions, y'all. I think we've answered all the questions. Oh, Dennis, you are so generous. We thank you. We are doing a membership program. We thought we were going to be able to launch it today, y'all. But we didn't know it has to be approved.
It has to be approved by YouTube.
Yeah, so that's why we couldn't launch it today. So Dennis, we thank you so much. As y'all know, our super chat money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That is our financial independence program for late bloomers like ourselves. Everything that we learned to go from negative 22,000 and over 800,000 in net worth in 3 years is in that program. All right. It comes with monthly group coaching, and it's going to a membership phase as well. So if you probably want to, if you are thinking about joining Beyond the Bling, you want to join now, because everyone who is in Beyond the Bling are going to get grandfathered into certain programs. After that, you'll have to pay for those programs. But we want to give all of our utopians the opportunity to get in now. It's very inexpensive. I guess that's a relative term. Wait, I got to read what he said. What people are valuing and ultimately want to see integrated is smart contract technology to automatically execute transitions for business functions. Now, I hear you there, Dennis, because it does not make any sense for it to take 3 days to transfer money from one bank to another, right? Like that just does not make any sense. And the fact that crypto is almost instantaneous and digital currency is almost instantaneous, there's something to be said for that. There's definitely something to be said for that. And if the United States goes digital, it's probably going to go digital on its own currency, right? Like I think they still will want to control it. Well, we know the melon fellow wants to control everything. Well, fast fashion is bad for the environment. That part's true too. There was a time in America where we didn't think we needed 30,000 outfits. Right? There was a time in America where you made a lot of your clothes, or the clothes that you got off the rack were very well made and would last you. And so you would buy quality pieces and then try to jazz them up with scarves and things like that, because you're going to have this suit, this skirt, or whatever for a long period of time.
My father had 3 suits. He had a blue suit, a gray suit, and a black suit. And these suits came from, I think he bought those suits in like the early 60s or 50s. And they looked
wide lapels.
They looked impeccable.
Yeah, you can still get good quality clothing like that today. But yeah, and we had wardrobes, not these big walk-in closets with all of this abundance, and not abundance in a good way, right? Not abundance in a good way. One thing about moving to Portugal, it has made us more minimalistic, and it's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. Hey, YouTube user. Okay, so Paolo says they're all junk and just wait for someone to find a fundamental flaw and throw it all in the bin. Ooh, Lord, people gonna lose their money. Thank you, Action VJ. We love you. We know you. I can't wait to see you. I cannot believe you're back.
He's here?
I told you that.
I didn't hear that.
I told you that. Bank of America and MoneyGram have both began to utilize the Ripple infrastructure of XRP. All right. So, TD, you are the third person that I read, right? Because we can't read everything, that has mentioned this. So we're definitely going to check it out, and we will come back to you and tell you what our opinion is. So the ETFs that we mentioned, you purchase them through the stock market, right? So you open up an account at Fidelity or Schwab is what we suggest. Why do we suggest those? Because they have a banking arm that will allow you to bank overseas and withdraw money without incurring ATM fees and with no conversion fees. All right. And so that's why we suggest Schwab or Fidelity. Out of the two, I actually prefer Fidelity because they have a lot more offerings, especially for fractional shares. A fractional share is when you can't afford to buy a whole share. like when Apple first came out, or like when we bought, what did we buy? We bought something at $1,000 a share and then it split. I think it was Nvidia. I don't know. But anyway, so if you can't afford a whole share, you just buy $500 worth, right? Or $100 worth, or $5 worth, right? That's a fractional share. So you own like a fifth of a share, and then you buy more, and then maybe you own a whole share. But so open up a brokerage account. You should already be investing through a 401k if you've got that at work. This is a new name, Nightingale 10. You should be in your 401k at work, right? And for beginners, we say, investigate like a total stock market index fund, an S&P 500 index fund, right? Maybe emerging market ETF or index fund, and start there, right? Just start there. And put the money on automatic. So just have it, come out of your savings account or your checking account directly into your brokerage account or IRA, right? If you're working and you don't have an IRA, Nightingale, you should have one, right? Max that IRA out, 7,000 to 8,000 to 9,000. I don't know how old you are, or where they've moved the lower level to. I think they moved it to 8,000, and we're not. I don't know.
It's 8,000.
I don't know, but you can max it out somewhere under 10,000. For 401ks, somewhere around 22 to 25,000. This is a lot harder to max that one out, right, than it is to max out an IRA. But that's where you want to start. And then into your brokerage. If you are younger and you're going to want to retire early before you can access without fees and penalties the 401k and the IRA, then also put money in brokerage account or get a after-tax IRA. Okay. Where's the script so I can write down the call letters you gave? Oh, one source. Okay, we're going to repeat them one more time. Number 1, BKF. Number 2, EMXC. X is an X-ray. Number 3, the Vanguard, VWO. Number 4, Wisdom Tree, EPI. Number 5, iShares Brazil, EWZ. And then number 6 is Spider. It's SPEM. All right. Hope that helps. All right. I think we've done it. Have we done it? I think we did it, y'all. So. All right. Who's coming to Portugal for our meetup in June? We got t-shirts, y'all. So if you are coming to the meetup, check your email. I'm going to send you the form if you want to purchase a t-shirt for the meetup. So we'll have a special meetup t-shirt just like we did last year. We also have our Black Utopia t-shirts and tote bags. And this time is just for the people who are coming to the meetup. I know y'all have talked about us doing a merch store, and we'll do that. Works. We'll do that. So for right now, it's just for the meetup people. Information about the meetup is in the description below, and I will put it in the chat right quick. Unless Action VJ beats me to the punch, because he is so fast. All right. The meetup is June 16th and 17th. It's always going to be around Juneteenth. Okay. June 16th and 17th. Some people are coming the week before so that they can participate in St. Anthony's Day. He is the patron saint for Lisbon and the saint of love. And so there 100 folks or so are going to get married on that day. That always happens. There's going to be a parade, and the whole city shuts down in the evening and becomes a big street party. And I mean the whole city. The whole city. But before that, every barrio has their own street festival as well. So there's street festivals going on all over Portugal the month of June. And it is so fun. It is so fun. So people are coming the week before to do St. Anthony's Day with us. And then our meetup is June 16th and 17th. There tends to be a Juneteenth celebration here as well. So I'm assuming that that's going to happen. And then Folks from the meetup have been in the chat in the WhatsApp group, because the meetup people have a WhatsApp group, and they have planned.
They've been making plans.
Yeah, they're doing Naki's tour. That's the African Lisbon tour. We ain't doing that again. I ain't walking up them stairs again. They're doing Afro flavors. So our friend Cam, who used to she's one of the founders of Black in Portugal. She has an Afro flavors tour. And so there's a lot of us that are going to do that. So I signed Rick and I up to do that. So they're doing other stuff as well. Afro food tour. Yeah. So they're doing other things as well, y'all, and they're going to have a ball. We're doing as much as we can with everybody. And we're going to go to brunch, and that's going to be, we're going Dutch. So hit the like on your way out. Definitely. When is the meetup? I answered that. And somebody else had a question. I'm a fan of index funds and ETFs. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They're low cost when it comes to mutual funds type of product, right? And they're automatic diversity. So I think for me as a beginner, I still consider myself a beginner, even though we have been studying stock and how to evaluate good thing since 2017, 2018, something like that. So that's when we started, way back when. And then got serious during COVID. We got real serious during COVID, right? Because we had more time. So if you still have questions, if you need help moving abroad, we can help you do that. All right. We don't hold your hand. That's not what we do, but we help you come up with a plan and we answer all of your questions. There's not really a lot of people who offer one-on-one calls. So we do that. If you need help with your side hustle, we are starting a side hustle community. The software has already been licensed, y'all. So I know we've been talking, but we spent money now. So it's got to happen. So we are going to have another side hustle challenge. But before that, the two cohorts that have already done the side hustle challenge, they asked for a community. And so we are starting this small business side hustle community to support each other and help each other build our businesses. And we want you guys to build a business that makes money for you while you sleep. We want you to build a business that gives you plenty of free time. We spent the day with some other Black immigrants here in Portugal. It was the Alma Wine Society's third event this year, and we were tasting natural wines. We had 6 different tastings. Was it 6 or 7? Something like that. But it was very short pours. But it was lovely. The food was, the pairings were nice. The wines were really, really, really good. They were like, on average, 20 euro bottles of wine, which here in Portugal, that means that's going to be $65 in the States.
One of them was 100.
One of them was 100?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We had $100 bottle of wine, 100 euro. So that's like $120 or whatever, something like that, $113. So yeah, we had a good time today, and that's what we get to do. We're going to go visit Adelia next week in Italy, and she's over there having the time of her life doing Adelia stuff. And we're like, I haven't seen her since she came to our first meetup, so we gonna hop on a plane and go over to Rome for Easter. So next time we see you, we'll be in Rome. And these are the things that you get to do when you have other sources of income, right? And you're not just depending upon one source of income. So we're going to launch that before we leave for Italy. We're leaving next week. So we are going to launch that community and our membership. With the membership, the bottom level, really cheap, $3.99 or something like that, right? Okay, Rick is setting that up. And you'll get behind the scenes. We're going to do behind the scenes talks on Zoom. Y'all, we can chat. It'll be every Sunday. We're going to do behind the scenes, and we'll chat before we go live. And so all members will get to participate in that. And then for the upper level, the legend level, a couple of things that it'll come with 4 coaching calls per year. And every other Thursday, we're only on every other Thursday. Now we will be on every Thursday starting in May, if we have enough folks signing up. starting in May. And we are going to have that upper tier, the Utopian Legends, on the channel every Thursday. And we're going to discuss the latest financial information, news, what's going on, all of that with you, our audience, because if you ain't there, we ain't here, right? We are because you are.
Yeah.
And so those who like to support the channel at that level, that's another perk. We gonna have you on the channel if you want to be every other Thursday.
And we'll be adding more perks as we go along.
Yes, we will definitely be adding more perks as we go along. We got it. I don't want to overpromise.
Got to get it started.
Yeah, we don't want to overpromise, and I do like my free time. So hit that like button. We love y'all. I don't see it. Subscribe. We are trying to get to 100,000, y'all. We are trying to get to 100,000. And so CK says, can we pay annually? We will create that. That we can do that, right? Can we create it that way?
I believe
we can, because we're not doing it through Patreon or anything. We're just doing it through YouTube, y'all. I know they take a lot of money. They take a lot of the money, right? But I just don't feel like managing another space. I don't feel like managing. That's going to take away from my free time, right? So that's how that works. So yes. All right, y'all. We love you. We will see you next week from Rome.
From Rome.
Yay. Bye.